would defend to the death his right to do everything he does. The thing that I find unusual, and it's, you know, it's not a criticism so much, but his targets are underdogs. And comedy traditionally has picked on people in power, people who abuse their power. Women and gays and immigrants are kind of, to my way of thinking, underdogs. And, you know, he ought to be careful because he's Jewish. And a lot of the people who want to pick on these kind of groups, the Jews are on that list a little further. You got women, gays, gypsies, blah, 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 and suddenly you find Jews. And Andrew,
suddenly Andrew's arrested.
Yeah, so, you know, I mean, obviously, he should do what he wants. And
why does he get away with it, do you think, then?
Well,
we have never laughed at jokes about the
Well,
poor.
he's appealing. I think he's appealing largely. I think his core audience are young white males who are threatened by these groups. I think a lot of these guys aren't sure their manhood because that's a problem when you're going in through adolescence. You know, am I really? Could I be? I hope I'm not one of them. And the women who assert themselves and are competent are a threat to these men, and so are immigrants in terms of jobs and the
so that's why we as an audience then will laugh.
You say we. I don't think you're.
I mean, I don't know.
But I think you're
collective we.
I think that's what is at the core of that experience that takes place in these arenas. Is a certain, you know, a sharing of anger and rage at these targets. And I'm sure Andrew isn't that angry at them. I'm sure he's playing it as a comic.
Comedians are being, you know, thrown in jail. They're getting like lit up on Twitter maybe a few times. They go through, you know, and that's wrong and maybe bad sometimes. But again, this is from people who have had their opinions heard relentlessly, hours every night, all the time. And then a blogger gets up and expresses their opinion in a blog, and it's like, what? I mean, I don't understand it. It makes no. How do you not understand that the audience has the same impulse that you do?
It's just that when there's retribution on Twitter, it can be a tidal wave.
Totally, absolutely, yeah. That's its own thing, and that's horrific. And when someone tweets a little joke that's misunderstood and their life is ruined, and they get fired from their job, that's awful. But that is not PC-ness to me. That is internet being unrestrained and anonymous and horrifying and violent and quick and too many people at once. I think those two things are conflated a little too often.
This is the whole thing about this woke thing that comics are, everybody's bitching about, oh, well, can't say anything. No, dude, you just can't say it wrong.
Yeah.
You're a moron.
Yes.
It's consequences. You're saying stuff like Kanye. Yeah. Kanye's not free speech. He's out of his mind.
Yeah.
You know, at one point, you're just wrong. And the weird thing is that, and here's how I know when comics are wrong. If the audience got mad, you didn't set it up right. I've talked about arming the children.
Yeah.
I've talked about my family's suicide. I've talked about I'm whitey and I apologize. Yeah. You can go anywhere you want to go, but you're just not skilled enough to lead the audience down the right path.
It's the job of a good comedian.
Yes, it's the job. And I can go through history. Lenny Bruce, George Carlin. They made everybody laugh. It wasn't woke.
Yeah.
You know what you are? You're weak.
Yeah.
Get off your ass and start writing better. Wow. There you go.
You can't tell jokes at work, basically, because at some point in history, some idiot showed up at work and was like, nice tits, Betsy. And Betsy's like, what? And that guy's like, I'm joking. And the boss is like, oh, no more jokes. Jokes have been ruined by people who aren't good at telling jokes. A joke should never end with, I'm joking.
I told an abortion joke recently, and a woman approached me. She was like, hey, that's very insensitive. I've had an abortion. You shouldn't tell jokes like that. I was like, whoa, hey, sorry, I just told a joke. I think what you did was much worse. But, you know, either way, I'll see you at home later, honey. And again, all jokes. I love abortions. I paid for 2 last week. I'm a fan, right? You remember? Come on. It's all jokes. A friend of mine, she works at Planned Parenthood. She loves that joke. And I was like, I might have to get rid of it. People don't like it. She's like, no, you got to keep it. I was like, I might get rid of it. She's like, no, you got to keep it. I was like, I might get rid of it. She's like, no, you got to keep it. I was like, I might get rid of it. I was like, don't tell me what to do with my body of work. She's like, every joke's a miracle.
you know, one of our favorites, Anthony Jeselnik, is always talking about.
Do your job.
He's the one that revived this Andy Warhol comic.
It's like, it's okay to make people mad, but they don't want any pushback. And I think that's wrong. As a comedian, you want to make people laugh. This is a quote attributed to Andy Warhol that I love. It's just, art is getting away with it. You know, if you put out a special and everyone's pissed, like, you didn't get away with it. You know, you need to make everyone laugh if they're like, yeah, he talked some fucked up stuff, but we're all happy. That's art. Otherwise, you're just a troll.
Getting away with it that's what it's all
It's
about.
always been, like, it's not new either. It's always been. You go back as far as you want. Someone's always been getting in trouble for what they said as a comedian.
Yeah, I mean, look
Carlin,
at our
Stern.
favorite, George Carlin. Carlin, Stern.
dealt with it just
Yeah.
from the other side.
They got put, I mean, Carlin was put into the back of a paddy wagon with Lenny Bruce.
No one's getting arrested anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You can say whatever you want. To sum it up, quit bitching and do your job. Make people laugh.
Yeah.
Now, if you've never seen me perform before, I am not good live. Heads up. If I offend anybody tonight, I apologize. That's not my intention. I'm not going to guess what your personal line of decency is. I cross my own from time to time. It's how I know I still have one.
I think the Kardashian family motto should be getting black men off since the OJ trial. Did you hear what just happened in this crowd? Some people clapped. That means those words, in that order, floated through the air, went into someone's ear, hit their brain, and their brain was like, quick, throw your hands together. That's how awesome that was. You gotta make some noise with your body parts. Stat. Those same words went through the air in that same order and went into someone else's ear and hit their brain, and their brain told them to go, meow. Your brain sucks shit. If words hit your brain and your brain's response is meow, 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 then you have the worst brain of all time. Right? That's a horrible brain. Meow. Could you imagine having that brain all day? Meow, meow. What an awful brain. The clap brain's so much better. Oh my God, that guy's falling. Clap right away, right? Your brain says, he's falling, I'm gonna throw my hands together. That's a good brain to have. That's a real good brain to have. I'm gonna start putting on all my invitations to parties, clap brains only. And if a meh, meh, brain comes to my house, I'm gonna kick them out. They're gonna say, that's not fair. And then all the clap brains are gonna make their hands clap. He's crying. Clappity, clappity. I don't want you to think that joke had anything to do with I have a problem with interracial relationships. I just think that joke is funny, and I think it's historically accurate. My first girlfriend in college was black. We were making out one night, and she said, whisper something crazy in my ear. So I said, I'm probably not going to tell my grandma about this. And then she said, me either. And that's when we found out we both have clap brains. We're still friends, and I think that's because we had great communication. I always knew when she was mad at me, I'd say something, she wouldn't like it, and she'd go, mm-hmm. You're like, she did not like what I just said. But it also sounded like Jaws was right behind me. Especially if she'd walk towards me, she'd be like, mm-hmm. 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 Like, oh my God, there's a shark behind me. It's a very scary situation to be in because I don't know if she was going to jump in and help because lots of black people don't like to swim in the ocean. The meow brains are out on that one, weren't they? Meow, meow, meow. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. If you're black and you're mad that I said that, stop telling your white friends stuff you don't want them to repeat. Because that is where I got that information. If you are white and you are nervous that I said that, don't be. I chose those words very carefully. I said lots of black people, not all. I said don't like to swim in the ocean, not can't. That would be racist. If you are Asian or Hispanic, mind your own business. Okay, that was not about you. Not everything's always about you. Some things are black and white only. Heard a guy say the N-word one time, and I was like, hey, buddy, you can't do that. And he goes, I don't mean it like that. I mean it like when you call your buddy fag or retard. Do you know what else you can't do? You can't use one of our nation's most offensive words and then try to get out of it by comparing it to two super offensive words. Right? And he goes, I don't mean it like actual fag or actual retard. I mean like when you say chink. Now that's a real story. The million-dollar question that goes along with it is, how come I have to say N-word, but I can actually say the word chink? Well, that's easy. Black people use guns. Chinese people use throwing stars. You know how bad it would suck to get shot? Pretty bad. Getting killed with throwing stars? Awesome. That would be the greatest funeral of all time, right? How did Chad die? A ninja. I'll be damned if a ninja didn't get a hold of him. Just walking down the street. Funk, 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 funk. Oh my God, I'm in a movie. That's amazing. I saw some of you cover your laughs during that last chunk. That can stop immediately. You came to a comedy club on purpose. This is not an easy place to find. You don't stumble upon this place. All right, left at the Cadillac dealership, and then good fucking luck. So the fact that you would cover your laugh after all that work makes no sense to me at all. If you don't want to laugh at something, don't. You're an adult. But if you're already laughing, you can't be like, my mind loves it, my body loves it, oops, my hand's a dick. All right, let it go. Even if you think you have a bad laugh, I promise you, it'll never beat the one I heard in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That is how a human being laughed out loud. I'm sorry, is my boat too close to shore? Because what in the hell is going on with your face? And he got mad at me and he heckled me, but here's how he did it. He went, boo! That's the wrong one, stupid, right? There are two boos. You picked the wrong one. You suck at laughing and guessing. I would like to go to that guy's house for Halloween, though, right? Watch him jump out of the bushes. Boo! Boo! Did it scare you? No, but now we think our costumes suck. Thanks. I don't know what I would have been that walked away like that, but I don't even know what does that. A nutcracker? Probably, right? Nazi if my grandma dressed me. Those are probably the two worst outfits of all time, right? You dress your kid like the nutcracker, you're asking for them to get molested. Trick or treat! They go in your mouth, boy. I pick trick. I pick trick. Would it not scare you if a little kid Nazi came to your house? Even if it was Halloween? Ding dong, trick or treat, smells these feet, give me something good to eat. If you don't, I don't care, I'll pull down your underwear. Get off my steps. I have a question, do you have any candy? I said, get off my steps. There's your candy, is it in your attic? Nobody's allowed in the attic right now. Okay, we're holding a journaling seminar called Let's Be Frank. You started hot on that one, cooled off a little bit. It's to be expected.